Welcome to the Attractions Group podcast. Don Helbig alongside Ryan Suhr. Let us be among the first to wish you and your family happy Thanksgiving. And Ryan, we had a chance to attend the IAPA Expo last week. I didn't know what to expect, but the experience was beyond what I had hoped to see. Great turnout. Especially coming off what they had last year. Following the pandemic and that. Vendors, they all seemed to be very, very happy. We saw deals being made on the floor, and it was just a great atmosphere. But while we were there, we learned of the passing of industry pioneer Alberto Zamperla. He's the second generation president of the global amusement manufacturer, and he was 71 years old.
Yeah, that's it's really unfortunate. Alberto Zamperla from Zamperla Rides passed away. I saw the Zamperla people kind of packing up their booth on Thursday toward the end of the day, and I don't know if they operated on Friday or not, but I'm wondering if they didn't because of that or if it had anything to do with that. But um, don't know Alberto, sorry. I do know Antonio, and he's a very, very nice guy, and he always wishes me a happy birthday on LinkedIn and stuff. So he raised a good son. They have a great company, and our thoughts and prayers go out to them. Alberto suffered from a short illness before passing away relatively unexpectedly. So we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that.
Yeah, another industry news. Christmas came early for Disney Parks fans with a CEO switch late Sunday night. Bob Chapek, he's out. Bob Iger back in the saddle. He agreed to a 2-year term. And, what were your thoughts on that news?
I really, really did not expect that to get that news on a Sunday night. And from what I understand, Bob Chapek was all set to be at that Elton John farewell concert that Disney had on Disney Plus. He might have been there. I think he was supposed to introduce Elton John. Um, so the real question is, I mean, Bob Iger was a good CEO, a very, very good CEO, and he's back. And the cool part is typically when this happens, it's in an interim capacity. So it's like maybe they commit for 6 months, but he did commit for 2 years. So a lot of people are acting like that's a short amount of time, but in this instance, that's a very long amount of time. Um, but what we're going to learn moving forward is that people pin a lot of the stuff they don't like on Bob Chapek. I'm not expressing favor or of opposition to him. I don't know enough to have an opinion. But they blame him for Genie Plus, the reservation system, and so on. So I guess with Bob Iger taking over, we're going to see if that sort of stuff changes. One thing I do know for a fact, and I would say Chapek is probably responsible for this because he's responsible for everything that happens in the company when he's the top dog, is that a lot of the culture was kind of getting weak there. People didn't want to be there, and that's not a conducive way to grow a company.
Yeah, like you mentioned, when you're at the top of the chain, you're the target all the time when things aren't going the right way. But it will be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years. You have a chance now to come up with a succession plan. Who's going to be that person. Going into what it's going to be, 2025, I guess, when that would change. And but just looking through social media and it just seems like a lot of the Disney Parks fans, they're excited about it. I think there were some things that, it just didn't seem like the experience maybe was as good as it had been from what I was reading, everyone's comments on that. But that was huge news. And again, we didn't expect to see that on
No,
a
no,
Sunday
I'm just
night.
innocently watching the Bengals game. Bengals won, by the way. You're probably aware. And my phone's exploding with news articles about it. Um, again, we don't have a magic wand. We don't know how things would have been different if Iger had not retired. But now it's in the hands of Bob Iger moving forward to fix whatever issues they have culturally. See, the thing though is, with Bob Chapek, to hold him personally responsible for the reservation system and so on, that's I mean, maybe. I don't know, but at the same time, their demand's never been higher for the Disney parks. Even with the reservation system, you can't walk around without bumping elbows into people. I saw a YouTube video from yesterday, and there was a million people in the park, and Jungle Cruise had a 100-minute wait. So maybe that was an earnest effort just to limit the crowds and have everybody have a better time, but just on the surface it seemed greedy. I don't know.
And I think, and across the industry, Ryan, with when the pandemic hit, that forced, everybody to kind of take a look at how they do things, and just you had to change it up a little bit. You had to, find ways to control capacity, and as we were coming back out of that, and that was kind of the development of the reservation systems, and uh, so you can blame individuals, or you can look back to the pandemic, which forced things to change, and try some different things. So who knows, if we hadn't had the pandemic, maybe things are different.
I absolutely think things would be different because, 5 years ago, if you go up to any park official and say you should have a reservation system, they'd slap you across the face and then tell you we're not limiting the amount of people coming into the park until the fire department tells us to. But the mentality's changed quite a bit behind that, and just imagine what Disney parks might be now if just anybody could buy a ticket. Now, they wouldn't be a whole lot worse, but they'd be 10 or 15% more busy. And then they can't handle that right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely plus and minuses to it, and to a reservation system, and but big change at Disney, and we'll see where that goes over the next couple of years. Well, Ryan, Thanksgiving, a couple days away. Let's do something different, and let's talk on this episode about things that we're thankful for in the amusement theme park industry. Get us
All
started.
right,
Go
Don, if
ahead,
I
pick a
had to
topic.
ask you one thing you're thankful for, let's start off big. Of all the parks you visited, of all the parks you've worked with, which one are you the most thankful for?
Well, obviously for me, it has to be Kings Island. It's just meant so many things to me. As a guest, working in the industry, my first roller coaster ride. Just so many things, so many memories. I have to go with Kings Island. I don't think there's any other park that could even come close to being the park that I'm most thankful for all the things that I've gotten to be able to see and do because of Kings
I
Island.
completely agree. I mean, I've been very transparent about the fact that during the summer, I essentially live there. I get off work, I go there probably 3, 4 times a week. I'm not one of the crazies that visits every day, but I'm pretty crazy, Um, but I'm absolutely to the point where if Kings Island does something like a cool show or a cool ride or whatever, I take pride in it just as being part of such a huge machine, just as a fan. So, um, it's one of my it's my second home, and I've never visited another seasonal park, especially that I would want to have as my home park. So I think we're on the same page for that. I wish we had a graphic we could put up for like a T chart or something for who's thankful for what. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All right, Ryan, what roller coaster are you most thankful for?
that's a great question. I I'm gonna have to go with the Beast at Kings Island again. This might be a Kings Island heavy list here, come to think of it. But the reason why the Beast is something I'm most thankful for. It's not even necessarily my favorite ride in the park, but it's so cool that if we're at IAPA or at Universal or something like that, if you mention like, yeah, I hang around Kings Island, they're like, oh, the Beast, So I just the notoriety and stuff where you can connect with people on that level, and be like, oh, if you haven't been there, make sure you ride it at night, that sort of thing. So if I had to choose one, I'm most thankful for it's definitely the Beast.
All right, well, for me, I'm most thankful for the
Shocker.
racer. Changed my life. Seriously, it did. First roller coaster I ever rode back in 1972, and then throughout the 1980s, just marathoning the ride and setting all the records and things on it. Um, but it really helped me in a lot of ways develop a lot of people skills because of what I was doing. Riding the ride in the 1980s, I was put in a position where I had to open up and talk to people, doing media interviews and all of that. And somebody that had an interest in getting into broadcasting, and or communications. That experience in the 1980s on the racer really helped me see it from both worlds. I was kind of the pawn in the middle, so I kind of knew what the PR side was looking to do with what I was doing, and how they were going to use that to create awareness for the park. And I learned what the media needed, with the sound bites and things like that to do their job. So I'm going to have to say the racer. There's a lot of great roller coasters that I've been on, but in terms of what it meant to me personally, professionally, it's the
Well, I
racer.
must say that if you said anything but the racer, we would have had to restart the podcast entirely. I'm just saying. All right. um, Don, what is the flat ride you're most thankful for?
The flat ride, I'm going to go with carousels in general, not one specifically, but carousels because I think they're the heartbeat of any park. And when I go to a park and they have a carousel, it is on my must do list. I mean, there's always a lot of the hardware and these exciting thrill rides and things you want to go on. But I get just as excited about a spin on a carousel. So for me, favorite, not favorite flat ride, but the one I'm most thankful for is going to be carousels because they just bring me so much joy.
You
What about
know,
you, Ryan?
I'd have to say that if I was thankful for a flat ride, many options out there. I absolutely love flat rides, but the thing that just kind of comes to my head right now is this S&S Scream and Swings, because first of all, they're underrated. Secondly, they're visual. Third, they're a fun riding experience, and four, they make these noises that are so industrial that if you heard that 10 years from now, you would know exactly what you heard. So I think the whole thing's unique. I think it's Scream's theme park, and you can theme them in any way you want. So S&S Scream and Swing, that's what I'm thankful for.
All right, let's move on. Ryan, what train ride in the
I'm
amusement theme park industry are you most thankful for?
I'm gonna slide in and I'm gonna take the Dollywood Express from you. The reason why I'm choosing Dollywood Express is because it's a venture through the woods, and that's cool. Any good train ride would be though, but the sight and the smell of the Dollywood Express is so incredible. Of it pouring out that black smoke and the loud horns, and then you're on it and you can smell the soot and stuff. It's just really what a train is like. Love the Dollywood Express. Would not visit Dollywood without it. Don, how about you?
Well, we're on the same page. It is the Dollywood Express. Love a couple other train rides out there in the industry, but that one's the most unique train ride as well. Just that climb through the mountains and just the setting. That's just what makes it the train ride that I'm most thankful for.
Awesome. Um, what water ride you're most thankful for?
Water ride. Well, I'm going to keep it on like the main park kind of side, not talk about like in a water park. But for me, I will go with Splash Mountain at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. I think that was just the amount of like theming and uh, I think that is just one of those attractions that I got off the ride. You're normally soaked, and you just want to get right back in line and do that one again. So Splash Mountain.
I'm gonna
What
go
about you,
towards
Ryan?
the water coasters. I'm gonna actually go on the water park side for this. Side shout out to the shoots. Those are really fun too. But the water coasters, especially ones that have like linear induction or linear synchronous motors, or have whatever. I'm not an engineer. Sending you uphill. The one at Holiday World, is it Mammoth? Is that right? Yeah, the one that's won the
Mammoth.
golden ticket. Rode that for the first time last year. Has about like 7 uphill sections. Was so fun. It just would not end. Uh, I would say that if a park has one of those, it's definitely a standout, and that's the water ride I'm most thankful for.
Yeah. Well, let's talk food items. I mean, there's a ton of food items that are great throughout the industry, but what food item are you most thankful for that you can find in the amusement theme park industry, Ryan?
Well, okay, let's backpedal from the food item because that'd be difficult. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna do a restaurant instead because I'm gonna say Aunt Granny's at Dollywood. And I don't even have a particular
Okay.
food item that's the best. Either that or front porch, uh, because both of them have excellent food. During the fall months, they have chicken and dumplings, which is my favorite theme park food. Okay, I guess that is the thing I'm most thankful for. Then come to think of it, but also front porch, which is just down the road in Dollywood, that has similar food, but they serve it with like a deep pan cornbread, which is just to die for. So, yep. Shout out to Dolly once again. Don, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna say Cosmic Rays at Magic Kingdom, which is the place where you will find the Mickey
Oh my
cheeseburger.
gosh.
Absolutely love that. I have so many cravings for a Mickey cheeseburger. Then I see sometimes in these, like with Facebook, they share the Facebook memories and things, and it'll pop up when I was having my first Mickey cheeseburger. And so, yeah, I'm most thankful for that. I always loved cheeseburger, and it's special.
I agree. So Don, what is the live stage show in a theme park that you're most thankful for? Past, present, or future?
Well, because it's the best show that I've seen in the industry, I'm going to go with Fantasmic at Disney's Hollywood Studios. That's a must see show if you're going to a Disney World. I mean, you can do nothing else while you're there except for that show, and you go back home feeling that you had a great time. So, Fantasmic for me. What about you,
Yeah,
Ryan?
so Phantasmic is a pretty obvious one. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit, just to make sure that we get some exposure to this, because you and I experienced the Stuntacular at Universal
Yes, we did.
Studios Orlando the other day, and oh my gosh, what a great show!
That was very close. Yeah, I mean, I was that pushed the envelope in terms of knocking out Fantasmic, but it just didn't. But you're right. That was just an incredible show
Right,
at
and
Universal.
it's funny because it's about 3 years old now, and it's not like usually when not necessarily Disney, but probably Universal when they do stuff, it's cutting edge, but other people figure it out within 3 to 5 years, and then you start having like bits of it at seasonal parks, and then they have to change it and so on. It's a cat and mouse thing. But with that one, I mean, I'll tell about it because it isn't really a spoiler because you got to see it to see it. But there's a giant screen and there's live characters and there's live sets and you have no idea who's live and who's projected on the screen. You have no idea what's a real set and what's on the screen. It's just absolutely incredible. But no one's been able to touch anything like that. That's probably a incredible budget to develop that, let alone put it on every day. So I am most thankful for the Bourne Stuntacular.
Like I said, that was a very very close second for me. Was that one? But let's talk about special events, Ryan. What special event throughout the industry have you been most thankful for?
Hmm. Well, there. Okay, I'm not going to name one. I can't be backed into this corner because I'm such a special events guy. Easy one. 50th anniversary of Kings Island. That was Kings Island at its finest, hands down. We've gone on about that. I'm not going to bring that up too much. Uh, the spring celebration at Dollywood is fantastic. I love the topiaries. I love the song "Coat of Many Colors" by Dolly. So that the fact that she has a topiary of her mom sewing the coat is really cool. All the butterflies and stuff, and the kites that are on the the wiring up at the top is just fantastic. So um, I would say those two, but you've got a place in my heart for any special event. What about you?
I'm going to go if I have to pick one. I'm going to say thankful for Winterfest at Kings Island. Just such a magical experience. You always hear the things about come see the park like you never have before. Whenever there's a different kind of an event, but that is the one event that it is a totally different experience than any other time that you're going to go to Kings Island or maybe all these other different events around the country. Um, you know, like I said, just so magical. So many memories of going to Winterfest and the original one in the 1980s, and then it came back in 2017. Bigger, better, more immersive than ever. Um, and then with the Christmas season being my favorite time of the year. In a lot of ways, when it comes to like holidays and that, it's always been the Christmas season. It just really, you just feel the warmth of the season there. So I'm going to go with Winterfest
Also,
at
an
Kings
excellent
Island.
choice. So, if you want a good testament as to what Winterfest, like the embodiment of Winterfest as far as the visuals are concerned, I saw an argument online with a drone shot of Winterfest. One, park supply drone shot taken from over the international restaurant at about, I mean, it was probably 300 feet, Eiffel Tower height or so, and people were arguing whether that was a real photo or if it was concept art. So that's a huge compliment that you would you would have that sort of thing where people are like, that can't be real, it looks too good, you know. All right,
No, that shot. I know exactly which one you're talking
it's a
about. It
famous
is
shot,
real
so
and
I'm
it's
surprised the person
spectacular,
hadn't
isn't it?
seen it, but I could see where just like the lights on the fountain changed the fountain. The ice different colors like in different sectors, and all the buildings are lit up in different colors, and the Eiffel Tower's lit up in different colors, and it's just so perfect in so many ways. So yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that. Starts Friday. Um, Don, what is the dark ride you're most thankful for? So Don, what's the dark ride you're most thankful for?
The dark ride I'm most thankful for. This is easy. It's Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Love that ride. I've down to science on when the peak times are to ride it, so I can get in multiple rides in one day. 3 4 times a visit there when I go. Can't get enough of it. Every time I experience the attraction, if it is that 3 or 4 times in one visit, I see something I didn't see before. Just love everything about it. The theming. Outside the attraction. I love when you go into the room, and they do the little spiel, and it's the room stretching, and
Hmm.
you look up in the ceiling, with the guy, up there, and that. So, yeah, that one for me is the dark ride that I'm most thankful for. What about you, Ryan?
I'm going to stick with Walt Disney World, but I'm going to go over to Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, which I've been very clear is my favorite ride on Earth. I love the Twilight Zone. I love Rod Serling, and I would say that the thing that really kind of makes it like dark rides that are like really cool is when you're looking at, especially in the queue and stuff, when you're looking at entire rooms that are just part of the theming. Like you walk in there and you check into the hotel, and it's a giant lobby and stuff, and it's just for show. I think that's really neat. The ride experience itself is decent. It's a drop ride, but if you're a big fan of Twilight Zone, I mean that's the ride for you. And it's got Easter eggs from all the different rides or all the different Twilight Zone episodes,
Yeah.
whether it's in the show or in the queue. It's got like the talking doll and all that stuff, or that's all there. So that's really really cool.
Yeah, I was, if it wasn't for Haunted Mansion, that would probably be my choice. But just something that every time I go, I can't get enough of Haunted Mansion. But I do love
Yeah,
Tower of
and
Terror
also
too.
it's kind of like I'm not sure if it would if I would necessarily hold that as a dark ride because it definitely has thrill elements to it. So we didn't really like splice that out as much as maybe we could have, because Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is also beyond perfect. But I think it's just with the design of the ride, it's just a little too thrilling to just be considered a dark ride. You know, yeah.
Okay. And well, Ryan, we've gone through the attractions and things that we're most thankful for. Now let's do a little bit of this and that for Thanksgiving. White meat or dark meat?
I usually go white meat because it's a little bit tougher and drier, and that's just how I like it because I slither the gravy on it. How about you, white meat or dark meat?
It's white meat because I'm somebody too that's going to load it up with gravy, and so yeah, it's
All
going to
right,
be the white
mashed
meat.
potatoes or stuffing? Hands
Mashed
down,
potatoes. Not even close.
hands
Not
down.
even close. Mashed potatoes. I don't know why people eat stuffing. I mean, I like take a little bite of it, but there's people I've seen like they load up half their plate stuffing.
I
I don't
just
know.
load up enough on my plate not
Let's
to be
go with
considered rude.
okay. All right. Um, this is gonna be an easy one for you. Mac
Mac
and
and cheese.
cheese or green beans? Mac and
I
cheese. Yes, yes.
didn't
Hands
even
down,
care what
mac
the
and
second
cheese
option
for both
was.
of us. Yeah, for Thanksgiving, my wife makes this mac and cheese. It's only special for Thanksgiving, but there's like a secret recipe she got from her mom, and so I count down the days of Thanksgiving just for that mac and cheese.
Yeah. Um. So would you choose? Yams or pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin pie, pumpkin pie.
I
Uh, for for you, let's go with deviled eggs or potato salad.
Good question because I don't really like either. If I'm really hungry, I could go for potato salad. Deviled eggs, though, yeah, potato salad. I don't want to talk trash about deviled eggs, but I would prefer potato salad.
If done right, I like deviled eggs better of the two because I think it fits in with there's the turkey, there's the mashed potatoes with gravy, the mac and cheese, and then there's the deviled eggs. That makes the perfect plate for me.
Awesome. So let's go back to dessert. So let's do apple pie or pumpkin pie.
I'm gonna lean toward apple pie. What about
Definitely
you?
pumpkin pie. I love the spice involved. I love the
Okay.
crust. Pumpkin pie is awesome.
Okay, and the final question here: when it comes to the gravy with your mashed potatoes, do you like dig, like a little trough and things for it, or you just like pour it
Trough.
all over everything?
Absolutely trough. I'm not a savage. Um, growing up in grade school, the mashed potatoes were always one of the side dishes, and what they would do is they'd have a little spoon, like a ladle, and they push it into the mashed potatoes and just kind of turn. So you got that little above ground swimming pool of dark gravy on your mashed potatoes, and that's just the type of guy I was raised to be. How about you? Dig
I'm
the
gonna
trough
dig the
all the way.
trough, but I'm okay if it ends up overflowing and goes over everything. I'm okay with that. But yeah, the trough. But yeah, that's looking so forward to the Thanksgiving Day meal on Thursday, and you know, uh, probably my favorite meal of the year. What about you?
Absolutely, my favorite meal of the year. I worked in retail in like high school and college, so I've always learned to hate Thanksgiving and hate Christmas. But it's been about a decade now, so I'm starting to get back to the point where, I look forward to, Thanksgiving coming up and having that meal and spending time with family, and especially
Yeah.
with Winterfest being back. I kind of look forward to the end of the year rather than thinking of it as like a cold frozen doldrum and then hey, there's fun on Christmas. Okay. Well, Don, do you have any final thoughts? Oh, so I should say, first of all, follow us on Twitter at attractions_GRP and look for us on your favorite YouTube or on the YouTube app under for the Attractions Group podcast, as well as search for the Attractions Group podcast on your favorite podcast app. Next week, we're going to be going back to Wednesday. We just did Thursday because Don's going out of town for Thanksgiving or Tuesday, sorry. Um, so we're going to be doing Wednesday. If things don't fail, and they often do, we're going to have a special guest. Not going to name names, but this is going to be the biggest guest we have ever had, and it's going to be probably top 10 we will ever have because you don't get much higher than this.
No, no, really looking forward to that next episode. And I think everyone who listens to the Attraction Group podcast is you're going to come away from that just just all the insights and things that they're going to gain from that is going to be incredible.
Absolutely. By the way, I promise we give a shout out to the Orlando Informer for their awesome meetup. Over the
Hmm.
weekend. That was a lot of fun. Definitely check out their website, OrlandoInformer.com. They've got meetups galore throughout the year. The lines are very short. The food is free. They gave us a $15 gift card for food, even though the food's free, just because you have to wait like an hour to get the free food. So they think of everything. So definitely,
That was an incredible event. Highly recommend you check out the Orlando Informer. You look at their meetups. I think they're doing like six a
yeah,
year now that they do, and tremendous value for what you get out of it. You got 25 rides. I think were open that night. You mentioned their free food. It's nighttime, so a lot of times Universal Orlando they're closing at 7 o'clock at night, so you don't really get those night ride experiences there. So definitely, check out Orlando Informer. Look at the meetups that they do, and again, thanks to our good friend Matthew Miller there, for letting us know about that
yeah,
event.
absolutely. I will definitely be. I don't know about if I'm going to be able to say I'm going to be at the next one because I think it's in February or so, or that's what they were advertising there. So I won't make it down there in time for that. But my next visit will definitely be planned around an Orlando Informer event.
Yeah, I mean that changed that as a game changer for me. If you're going to experience Universal Orlando, I mean that seemed to be the best
It's
way
the
to
only
do
way
it.
to do it at this point with how busy the parks are. All right. So, Don, any final words of advice before you go on to the land of the Smoky Mountains to celebrate Christmas and have a turkey that's, if it's half as good as it looks, you're all in for a real treat, and all that stuff that you do every year on your Twitter?
Yeah, I mean it's leaving tomorrow morning, leaving bright and early, to head to Tennessee. It's become the new family tradition for us to have Thanksgiving in a cabin in the mountains, and um, just kind of take a break and just relax for that weekend. And looking forward to that. Ryan, I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll be back at it next week with our special
Likewise,
guest.
I'm I'll be in town. Do you pack all that food and take it down there? By the way, wow.
We do, we do. We pack it all up, and it's a big carload. So the back seat, the trunk, everything's filled up. My daughter and her fiance, they come down, separately with that. But yeah, it's a lot of food. But just something that we started doing a couple years ago, and I think that's going to be the tradition moving forward
Well,
for
that's
us every
cool.
year.
That's really nice. So you're gonna visit Dollywood while you're down there?
Undecided this time. There's so much to see and do down in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. A big part of this trip is also to, relax a little bit. You have the cabin, you kind of want to enjoy it. So if you're out doing things all the time, you don't get to do that. But we'll see what the weather is on the weekend. If it's nice in that, may make a stop there. I mean, they got the Christmas event going on, so why not check it out? You're there, so you'd regret it if
Yeah.
you didn't. So likely that I'll be there, but it's just there's just a lot of things we want to see and
Yeah,
do
see,
while we're there.
I've been fortunate to be able to have a season pass to Dollywood the last 2 or 3 years. So if I was in the area, I'd have to stop by. It's because I've never been to Christmas. I'm going in about 2 weeks,
Yeah,
the weekend of the 9th or so. So really looking forward to that. But there's, the
yeah. So if I don't hit it this weekend, I mean there'll be another weekend that that I'll be down there in Tennessee. So it's not the only time I'm going to be down there over the next 6 weeks. So if I don't get it on this trip, I'll get it
perfect.
on the
All
next one.
right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all, and to all a good night. And this is Ryan Suhr and Don Helbig signing out. And happy Thanksgiving. And we will see you next week.